Welcome! We're delighted you wish to join the General Society of Mayflower Descendants, or GSMD. GSMD is considered the gold standard in lineage societies. As such, there are some requirements that differ from other lineage organizations. Please know the goal is to remain the gold standard by documenting as full and complete a genealogical history of your family as possible. We wish to welcome as many eligible descendants as we can. This tutorial was created to assist you in your journey of becoming a member of this prestigious organization. This is not intended to be an all-inclusive guide, rather to offer some do's and don'ts that should help you prepare the best supporting documentation possible. First, please know that to become a member of the General Society, you must join through a member society. There are member societies in every state of the U.S. and in several countries too. Mayflower descendants are everywhere. A historian from the member society you wish to join will collaborate with you on the preparation of your application and documentation. While gathering the documents required, there are several do's and don'ts that will help your society historian prepare the most complete and accurate application possible. Following these will expedite the review and verification process at Plymouth, saving you time and headache. Please review these guidelines and be sure to ask your society historian if you have any questions. Attention to detail at this stage will pay off for everyone involved in the process. The first item on the Please Do list is to seek out long-form vital records. Long form means that the parents are named. For birth certificates, for example, we're looking for a government-issued certificate, usually from the state, but sometimes the county, in which the event occurred. This should include the mother's maiden name. For marriage records, as another example, only a government-issued document that, generally speaking, names the parents is acceptable. Marriage documents from a church or the person who officiated the ceremony rarely include the parents' names and are not acceptable. Your society historian can help you learn the date by which each state began generating certificates for its residents' births, marriages, and deaths. You do not need certified vital records. Records that are for informational or genealogical purposes only are acceptable and may cost less. For ancestors who lived when a vital record should have been created, you will be asked to provide that document regardless of how many generations back they are from you. If the vital record cannot be found, request a letter from the agency stating that no record could be found and submit that. In this case, you may use other types of documents such as census records, church records, probate records, family Bibles, and more. Your society historian can help you determine documentation that is likely to be accepted. Many of these types of records will suffice to document your ancestor, but it is important to note that acceptability is confirmed only by the staff genealogists at the General Society. One important note, while it may be of great interest to you to have discovered multiple records of your ancestors' life events, the reviewing genealogists at Plymouth are looking for the fewest number of documents that best detail the birth, marriage, or death. Additional paperwork that does not offer new information only slows the review process. If you have a birth certificate that provides the name, date, location of the birth, and the parents' names, please do not also submit a baptismal record, a passport, a military document, or census record. The complete birth certificate is sufficient. Please submit a single copy of your documents, even if that record supports multiple generations, printed on letter-size paper and printed single-sided. Please don't group documents together and scan them onto a single page. And please don't submit a cell phone picture of the document, as these are often impossible to read. When submitting the documentation to your society historian, group the documents by generation, unless the source is a single publication that covers multiple generations. In this example, a published family genealogy details the life events of multiple generations. Please keep the book's title page, including the year of publication, and all pages together. Do not separate the pages and place them with corresponding generations. If your ancestor was recorded in the 1900 federal census, please include this document even if you have also included a vital record for their birth. Indicate with a dot, small arrow, or line in which household includes your ancestor or ancestors. And now for the please don'ts. Please do not use a highlighter to identify your ancestor on a document. Highlighted text often becomes redacted or blacked out when scanning. Please do not underline information on the document. Your society historian will code the documents to signal to the reviewing genealogist what the record is intended to prove and for whom. Please do not staple your documents. These pages must be scanned, and stapling them requires the person reviewing them to remove the staple. Once unstapled, the pages tend to stick together, causing delays in the scanning process. If you feel it is important to group documents together, please use a paper or binding clip. Please do not try to correct information on a document. If a name is misspelled or you believe clarification is required, submit an explanation as a separate letter, leaving the document untouched. Now some important notes about various sources of information. Regarding Find a Grave, for example, while Find a Grave appears to offer a wealth of information, be forewarned that most lineage societies, including Mayflower, will not accept the biographical information input by others. The only acceptable data is that which can be read directly from the headstone image. Headstones that are decayed to the point of illegibility cannot be used, nor can photos that are of such poor quality that no date or name can be read. Relationships cannot be inferred by the placement of graves. However, the location of the cemetery can be used as a burial location. Please submit enough of the data from Find a Grave to include the memorial number. If the photo is more easily read by enlarging it, please click on the photo and print a copy of it to be submitted as a second page. There are a lot of very helpful clues to be found on sources like Ancestry and Family Search. However, not all of these are accurate or acceptable. Information found in family data collections, for example, is not sourced and is not acceptable. Proof of names, dates, and locations should come from primary sources, such as vital records, first, and acceptable secondary sources next. Please do not send an enlarged portion of a census page. Send the copy of the actual, full census page, including the location and date, with a small red line or arrow in the margin to indicate your ancestors. A note about family member applications. You may have a family member who had previously been granted membership into the Mayflower Society. This is not a guarantee, however, of your own verification. Documentation requirements have become more rigorous in recent years. Your society historian will work with you to update older applications that will meet today's standards. As you gather the documents that record the life events of your ancestors, you may discover that not all records are as complete as the General Society will require. For example, many marriage records do not name the parents of the bride and groom. This leaves us with what the Society refers to as an issue proving one and the same. In other words, is the man named Charles A. White, who marries Fannie E. King in this marriage record, the very same Charles Arthur White, born to Ellerson Ambrose White and Mary Emily Cassler, or is it a different man of the same name? There are several types of documents we can use to resolve a one and the same issue. For ancestors who lived until fairly recently, often an obituary will provide the parents' names, the spouse's name, and the name of the deceased children and even grandchildren. This helps us to connect several generations and is a very useful document. A will or land deed from one or both parents naming their child and that child's spouse, or naming their daughter with her married name, and even naming grandchildren is great for connecting 3 generations. A wedding invitation or newspaper announcement that names the bride and groom's parents. An anniversary announcement that names the parents of the couple, or death certificates that name the daughter with her married name and the relationship to the deceased as the informant. Also note that a death certificate for a woman that names her parents and her spouse serves to confirm that she was born to whom you claim and married who you claim. Funeral records that name children and grandchildren as well as their relationship to the deceased. Anything that allows us to state conclusively that the person born to the parents you claim is the very same person of that name who married the spouse you claim, and not a different person of the same name. And this is what helps make the Mayflower Society the gold standard in lineage organizations. We hope this has given you helpful information to successfully prepare your documentation for membership in the Mayflower Society. Thank you, and we look forward to welcoming you as a member.